Hi y'all, it's Cam again. This is video 15 of the Ghislaine Maxwell uh, deposition transcript. Virginia Giuffre filed a defamation lawsuit against Ghislaine because she called her a liar and all this other stuff. So anyway, that's what's happening right here. But we're on page 365 of 465. So we're booking through this one. There's some other ones that's like 943 pages, and the other one's like 2,042 pages. I don't know if I'll ever get through them, but with this particular document, I'm trying to get Chat GPT to do kind of a animated one of this because this guy keeps going objection to the former foundation. Anyway, it's just like it would be kind of interesting to see kind of the drama involved with that. But anyway, let's go on. So, question, this email reads: do you want redacted without a vowel to come out and say she was the girlfriend during the time? Who was Jeffrey Epstein, or yes, referring to? I believe he was referring to redacted. Why was he asking you if you wanted redacted to come out and say she was the girlfriend? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. The way the press and you are characterizing me is I was with Jeffrey throughout this entire period of time, and I was not. Was redacted with Jeffrey during this period of time? I believe she was. Did Jeffrey come out and tell the press it was redacted and not you that was with him as he is proposing here? I don't believe he did. Do you want him to do that? Or did you want him to do that? No, I didn't ask him to do anything. No. So, do you know in January of 2015 was redacted his girlfriend? 2015, I have no idea who was his girlfriend in 2015. I'm sorry, you're correct. In the period of 1999 to 2000 was redacted his girlfriend. They spent a lot of time together. Did you talk to redacted about going to the press and saying that she was the girlfriend and not you? I've never spoken to redacted. Was redacted offered any money to make a statement that she was the girlfriend? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I have no idea. I've never spoken to redacted. I don't know anything. I have no idea. Maxwell Exhibit 19, email marked for identification. That's an email from Jeffrey to Maxwell dated January 25th, 2015. I will direct your attention to the bottom email, which is from you on Saturday, January 24th, 2015. It says, I would appreciate it if redacted would come out and say she was your girlfriend. I think she was from the end of 99 to 2002. Does that refresh your recollection that you asked Jeffrey to have redacted come out and say she was a girlfriend? I'm sure I would have loved anybody to come out and say they were with Jeffrey rather than me. Was that an accurate statement you were asking to be made to the press? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the former foundation. When is this? 2015. The statement is whether she was the girlfriend from 99 to 2002, as the email reads. What is your question? My question is, was that an accurate statement you were going to be given the press? I didn't make the statement, and redacted never came out, so it's completely moot. My question is, was it an accurate statement that redacted was the girlfriend from 99 to 2002, or were you just making that up for purposes of deflecting press from you? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. As I said, they spent a lot of time together, and were you also his girlfriend from 99 to 2002? I don't know if I would ever have characterized myself as a girlfriend, but redacted at that time was with him as much, if not more, than I was. I will mark this as Maxwell 20, Maxwell Exhibit 20, email marked for identification. This is an email at the top. It's Bates labeled 00100, excuse me, 001060. At the top is a chain from Jeffrey to you on January 11th, 2015. And if you look below, I'm going to start at the bottom of that chain, which is January 11th at 9:15 from Jeffrey. And he wrote, redacted, do you have an article coming out in Monday's paper? If so, could you please forward us a copy? Do you know what redacted Jeffrey was referring to there? I don't know. If you look up in the email chain, do you see an email address from redacted responding to that letter? I do. So that would be redacted that Jeffrey was emailing at that time according to this chain, correct? It certainly looks like it. The email from redacted to Jeffrey is nothing on Monday. I'm working on several possible articles about unfairness in the legal process that allows false charges to be inserted into legal documents with no opportunity to respond. And you see above that Jeffrey's email to you says, quote, careful. Is that to me or to redacted? Jeffrey to redacted at the top. Why was Jeffrey telling you to be careful? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I have no idea. What was he concerned about with redacted suggestion in the email below? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I can't possibly know. Did you discuss with him why he told you to be careful? I had limited contact with him. I don't recall where this goes in the chain. Why he was telling me to be careful, I have no idea. Did you respond to this email? If you don't have it, I didn't respond. Did you ever delete emails during the period of January of 2015? I have every email that you've asked for in Discovery that I gave you. That's not my question. Did you ever delete emails in January of 2015? I've not deleted anything that you have asked for in Discovery. I've given you everything that I have. That is not my question. My question is, did you ever delete emails in January of 2015? In the normal course of my work, there are emails from spam that I deleted or that I delete. That is a type of email I've deleted. Anything that is material to what you want, I've not deleted. How do you know that? Well, anybody that's to do with Jeffrey or redacted or women or anything of which I know you were interested in, of which I have anything I would not have done because I don't want to subject myself to. Have you had your computer forensically copied for purposes of this litigation? Mr. Bagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. Has someone made a copy of your computer for purposes of this litigation? No. Are you a citizen of the United States? I am. Are you also a citizen of England? I am. Are you a citizen of any other land? Terramar? That's the name of your charity project that deals with oceans. Is that correct? Yeah, I'm French as well. Was Jeffrey Epstein funded, or has Jeffrey Epstein funded Terramar for you? He did give some money to Terramar, yes. How much? I believe it's $50,000. Earlier today, you said you were in the process of resolving the sale of your townhome. Where do you intend to live once your townhome is sold? That's a good question. I don't have an answer for you yet. You don't have a present plan. Do you intend to live in the United States? I don't have a present plan. Are you living outside of your townhome right now? Or are you still there? I'm just couch surfing. Has Jeffrey Epstein ever purchased a company for you or put a company in your name? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I have no recollection. Is there a Ghislaine Maxwell corporation, for example? No, not that I'm aware of that has anything to do with me. There may be with one that someone else started, but not one that is related to me. Miss McCauley, I'm gonna take a short break and make sure to keep it short because I know you wanted to. I just wanted to wrap up what we have left. The videographer, it's now 5:49. We are off the record, recess. The videographer, it's now 6 p.m. and we're back on the record. Miss Maxwell, do you recall being subpoenaed for a deposition back in 2009? I do. Why did you avoid giving your deposition in that case when you were subpoenaed and had the opportunity to tell the side of your story? Or your side of the story? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. That's not what happened. What happened? As I best recall, I was subpoenaed and a date was set for the subpoena and everything was set. And I believe it was with Brad Edwards. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Brad Edwards failed to show up for the subpoena. So your testimony is Brad Edwards did not show up for the deposition that had been set. Correct. Did you give any statement that your mother was ill and therefore you couldn't take your deposition and had to leave the country indefinitely? That's an entirely separate situation. Brad Edwards was involved in the redacted I believe you know, is when fake suits were created in Jeffrey's case and redacted, and Brad Edwards worked for that firm. And Mr. Edwards worked for that firm. So when the subpoena came, Brad Edwards was involved with redacted in the case. So when I was called for subpoena, then I and had, excuse me, then and I had a subpoena date and time set. Brad Edwards went AWOL, meaning he failed to respond to calls and failed to get in touch with my attorneys, even though a date and time was set for the subpoena. And so that's what happened to that subpoena. It just didn't happen. We may be talking about two different cases, so I will ask the question again. Was there ever a time where you were subpoenaed to sit for a deposition that you could not make it because you said that your mother was ill? So that is the same subpoena that Brad Edwards failed to turn up for. And then I think 5 or 6 months passed between a period of time I can't characterize exactly. A period of time passed where then he resurfaced and asked for a new subpoena to be a new time to be set. And because he had contacted the press and done all sorts of things that you guys are familiar with, I believe it was my lawyer suggested that I should have some sort of protective order. And I believe between the time for when Brad Edwards resurfaced after the redacted for creating fake cases in Jeffrey's and other people's cases, in between the time when there were trying to figure out the protective situation for me. My mother was sick. She's 89. She was 89 at that time. So we all have parents. So anyway, anyone, I don't know, this lady's going off the rails. I don't know how old your parents are, but any parent or godparent, any individual who is in the late 80s or 90s, we can understand has health issues. So my mother's health was deteriorating very rapidly at that time, and we had issues at home with who she would talk to and how to manage her health care situation. So I went home. They were still arguing about the protective order. Is it your testimony that there was not a date set for your deposition at the time you left to go see your mother? I don't believe so. Are you friends with the redacted? I am. Did you attend a wedding of redacted a few weeks after the date was set? Let's say a few weeks after you left to go see your mother who was ill. I don't recall exactly when I left, but it was before, a few weeks before. I don't remember the exact timing of that. So I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question? Did you come back to the United States to attend Redacted's wedding? I attended Redacted wedding, but I don't know if I came back specifically for that or not. When we were looking at the flight logs earlier, there was a flight where you ended up in Redacted. I believe it was in Redacted. Do you know how you got clearance to land at that Redacted? I need to have a look at whatever document. It's one of the flight logs. It was on the flight with Redacted. When we were talking about you landed at Redacted, I know you're a pilot. Do you know what you had to do to get clearance to land at that naval base? Mr. Pagluca, if you need to look at something to answer the question, you can. If you can't answer the question without looking at something, just indicate such. Regardless, I wouldn't have any knowledge of that. Was Redacted traveling with you on the flights you were on with Redacted? I would have to look at a document. I wouldn't know if she was on all of them or not. I don't know. Do you recall her being on any of them? To the best of my recollection, I think she was. I don't recollect exactly what flight she was on or not. Redacted was one of the co-conspirators physically in the non-constitution agreement. Is that correct, Mr. Pagluca? Objection to the form and foundation. I've never seen the document, but my understanding, I believe, is that she was. Did you ever stay the night ever at Redacted's house? Redacted, have you ever stayed the night there? In his home? Redacted, yes. I don't believe I did. Are you aware of anybody providing Jeffrey with two 12-year-old girls as a birthday present? Mr. Pagluca, objection to the form and foundation. No. Are you aware of anybody ever providing Jeffrey with French girls under the age of 18 as a birthday present? Mr. Pagluca, objection to the form and foundation. No. Do you know whether redacted provided girls under the age of 18 to Jeffrey for the purposes of sex? Mr. Pagluica, objection to the form and foundation. I am, the answer is no. I don't know anything about that. Did you ever witness redacted bring girls under the age of 18 to any of Jeffrey's residence or to Jeffrey residences? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form and foundation. I don't recollect redacted coming to the house with girls, period. Do you, when I say home or house, I'm including the U.S. Virgin Island home. Do you recollect redacted bringing foreign girls under the age of 18 to the U.S. Virgin Island house? I don't recollect anything like that. Do you know how Jeffrey Epstein made his money? No. Was redacted one of his clients? I have no idea. What do you know about the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein and redacted? Are you talking today? Yesterday. I have no idea. Do they have a business relationship? I have no idea. Did they have a business relationship during the time that you were working for Jeffrey Epstein? I believe in the 90s when I was there, they had a business relationship. Did they have any other kind of relationship? Mr. Pagliuca objects to the form of foundation. The only relationship I'm aware of is the business relationship. Do you know why Redacted sold the New York house or gave the New York house to Jeffrey? If you know, I think that's Leslie Wexner, just saying. Mr. Pagliuca objects to the form and foundation. I know nothing about that transaction. Can you list for me all the girls that you've met and brought to Jeffrey Epstein's house that were under the age of 18? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form and foundation. I could only recall my family members that were there, and I could not make a list of anyone else because that list, it never happened that I can think of. I'm talking about the time you were working for Jeffrey Epstein. Can you list all girls that you found for Jeffrey Epstein that were under the age of 18 to come work for him in any capacity? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form and foundation. I didn't find the girls. You choose the word. Mr. Pagliuca, if you have a question, ask it. You don't choose the word. List all of the girls you met and brought to Jeffrey Epstein's home for the purposes of employment that were under the age of 18. Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I've already characterized my job as to find people, adults, professional people to do the jobs I listed before: pool person, secretary, house person, chef, pilot, architect. I'm asking about individuals under the age of 18, not adult persons, people under the age of 18. I look for people or tried to find people to fill professional jobs in professional situations. So Virginia Roberts was under the age of 18, correct? I think we've established that Virginia was 17. Sorry, go ahead. Is she the only individual that you met for purposes of hiring someone for Jeffrey that was under the age of 18? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation, mischaracterizes her testimony. I didn't hire people. I said met. I interviewed people for jobs for professional things, and I'm not aware of anyone aside from now Virginia who clearly was a masseuse, age 17. But that's how far we know that I can think of that fulfilled any professional capacity for Jeffrey. List all the people under the age of 18 that you interacted with at any of Jeffrey's properties. I'm not aware of anybody that I interacted with other than obviously Virginia, who was 17 at this point. Maxwell Exhibit 21, email marked for identification. I'm showing you what's been marked as Maxwell 21. It's an email dated January 21st, 2015 from Jeffrey to you. Is that you can take a moment to take a look at it. Is that a statement that Jeffrey Epstein wrote for you to be issued to the press? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form and foundation. The question was, is this a statement that Jeffrey Epstein wrote for you to be issued to the press? Mr. Pagliuca, same objection. Is there any other emails that you have that surround this that would allow me to know what does this have a context? These were produced by your counsel so that to the extent there are emails that surround this, this is what we were given. Okay. I don't know whether he wrote this. Obviously, he wrote this and sent this to me. I don't know if this is post a phone call we had. I can't recollect exactly. Do you know if this was issued to the press, this statement? The only press statement that was issued is the one that you have. When the paragraph refers to you being in a very long-term committed relationship with another man, who was that other man? Mr. Pagliuca, you don't have to answer that question. Ms. McCauley, I'm asking the identity of a witness in the statement she's giving. Mr. Pagliuca, she didn't give the statement. Ms. McCauley, Jeffrey is writing to her. I'm asking who is he referencing to a long-term relationship? You gonna refuse to let her answer that question? Mr. Pagliuca, yes. Ms. McCauley, I would like to state for the record, he's refusing to allow her to identify a potential witness in this litigation. So we will be back to get the answer to that question. Do you recall when you were traveling with Virginia Roberts that you would be responsible for holding her passport? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I already testified I don't recall traveling with Virginia. Do you recall whether Jeffrey Epstein, when he was traveling with a minor, someone under the age of 18, someone would hold their passport? Mr. Pagliuca, object to the form. I couldn't testify to what Jeffrey did or didn't do. You never observed him gathering a minor's passport and holding it during one of the trips you were on. I don't have a recollection of that. Are you familiar with the company called Hyperion Air Inc.? I am. Is that a company you're affiliated with? No. Is that a company that Jeffrey Epstein or Jeffrey owns? I knew it back in 2001, back when I was working. I have no idea what that is today. What about JEGE? Are you familiar with that company, JEGE Inc.? I don't recall it. You don't recall? It vaguely rings a bell. I don't remember what it relates to. What about J. Epstein Virgin Islands Foundation Inc.? Are you familiar with that company? No. How did J. Epstein and Company Inc.? Again, I don't recall his business names and affiliations. How about NES LLC? Are you familiar with that name? Again, I don't think that was one of his businesses, but I don't recall. Do you know what that business did? I don't. How about New York Strategy Group Inc.? I don't know. What about Ghislaine Maxwell Company? Are you familiar with that company? I never heard of that. Is that a company you're on record as being either a board member of or having a position of authority in? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I've never heard of the business. What negative, unflattering, private, or potentially embarrassing information does Jeffrey Epstein know about you? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I imagine none. Does he have any knowledge of any illegal activity you've conducted? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. If you want to ask Jeffrey questions about me, you would have to ask him. Have you ever been involved in any illegal activity in your lifetime? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I can't think of anything I've done that is illegal. Have you ever been arrested? I have a DUI in the UK a long time ago. Is that the only arrest you have on your record? Yes. I will mark as Maxwell 22 this email. Maxwell Exhibit 22, email marked for identification. This is dated January 21st, 2015. It's from Jeffrey Epstein to you, following or forwarding the Guardian. And I would like you to look at the chain of emails so you understand have an appreciation for who is on this. It's a 3-page document. The bottom of the email appears to be a message from, at the very bottom, there's the signature block for redacted, redacted, redacted. And above that, there's a message from a redacted. Do you see that? Do you know who redacted is? I do not. Above that, there's a message from redacted and you, and it says, so this isn't getting better. latest from our chums at the Guardian. And above that, you will see on January 21, I'm sorry, an email from you where you wrote, see below. And right about that chain, you will see Jeffrey Epstein to you on January 21st. And his statement to you is, this will now end, but I think a dismissive statement is okay. What did he mean by this, by his statement? This will now end. Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I have no idea. Did you discuss with him what he meant by the statement? This will now end. I don't recall. Was he taking any action to ensure that, quote, this will now end? I have no idea. Maxwell Exhibit 23, email marked for identification. This is an email from, if you look at the top of the, at the chain at the top, you will see it's from you to Jeffrey on January 27th, and the email at the bottom of the chain is from Jeffrey to you on January 27th. He states, what happened to you in your statement? Question mark. Question mark. And you put at the top, I have not decided what to do. Why was Jeffrey interested in you making a statement to the press? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I don't know that he was interested. We made a statement, and then I was being advised to make an additional statement and never did. Was Jeffrey communicating with you regularly on what additional statement you might make? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. No, I've communicated with him very little as possible. Why did you feel you had to keep him informed of statements that you were making to the press? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I didn't feel I had to. Then why you were communicating with him about statements you were making to the press? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. Insofar as this is the case, it's really all about Jeffrey. It's not a case about me. In 2009, did you direct your lawyer, either directly or indirectly, to tell Brad Edwards that you are unavailable to attend a deposition? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation, and this is a privileged communication, as I understand the question, what someone said or didn't say to their lawyer, so don't answer the question. Can you answer that question without revealing a privileged communication? Can you ask the question again? In 2009, did you direct your lawyer to tell Brad Edwards that you were unavailable to attend a deposition? Mr. Pagliuca, same instruction. Did you make any statement in 2009 to anybody that you were unavailable to attend a deposition? My mother was sick, and I don't recall exactly the sequence of events, but what sequence of events do exist was handled by my lawyers. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Anyway, we'll talk to you later. Bye.